What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to the much long-awaited meet recap. I apologize, you guys. This has been just a crazy time for me, and I know I am going to get back on these weekly recaps, I promise you. But to those who are new to the channel, welcome. I typically will post my weekly recaps on my way up to a 700-pound raw bench, and actually a lot further than that with full power. And so that is what I'm bringing to you guys, and to you guys who've been with me since the very beginning. Welcome back. I really appreciate you guys' support and sticking with me. All the messages, all the DMs, everything that you guys have been sending me, much appreciated. But I have promised you guys I will get a meet recap, and here it is. So I'm going to show you guys what happened, but let me give you guys a rundown if you guys are kind of new and you don't know what's going on. So basically, my training leading up to this last meet the meet was on July 25th. Was a reschedule. Actually, it was not a reschedule. It was sort of a rescheduled meet. I had a meet scheduled for April, got canceled due to the whole world shutting down, literally, and kind of went on to a hiatus for about 6 to 7 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, where I basically was not training really heavy, just to try to maintain some strength and just maintain sanity. Honestly, wasn't real active that I would have liked to have been, as many of you probably still are. So if you guys are not working out, I feel your pain. But basically, the meet was canceled in April. I had an opportunity to do a meet in June, and that was a little too soon for me. I couldn't ramp up my training that fast. So we planned to meet for July 25th, and everything looked really good for that meet. We had to ramp things up a little quick. In the meantime, I got a couple of pec strains back on week, oh man, I have to see. It was probably about 6-7 weeks ago, so it was week like 80, 82-ish, I would say. Where I got a couple of pec strains and it just kept getting worse and worse. And honestly, that set me back about 3 weeks. So going into a bench only meet where I was looking to go 700 plus at a body weight of 300 or less, or whatever I was going to end up being. And so basically leading up to the last few weeks of training, I kind of knew, and I guess, I told you guys that we were looking at possibly doing maybe 650, 660, 6 anything, would be really nice. And it's been a while since I've done a really good meet. I did kind of a, I guess if you want to call it a training meet, if you will, back in March at the Arnold. That was canceled. We ended up doing a meet, me, Chidi, and Julius, and Larry Wheels, and a couple other guys. Some of us were peaks, some of us were not. I was not. Ended up doing like 645 in that meet, so I was pretty happy with it and was looking to really go like 700 plus at the meet within about 8 weeks of that. Of course, it was canceled. But anyways, back to this last training cycle. If you go look at my last recap, going into the meet, I'm always excited going into a meet. I don't care what the circumstances are. I just love to compete. It was really nice to get into a meet and shake the dust off, because it's been a while since I've done a real meet and prepped for a meet the right way. So going into the meet, I had my apprehensions about how my performance was going to be. At the last minute, we decided to go ahead and say, well, it's probably not going to be smart to attempt 700 when 650 was a little bit of a struggle the last time in training, as you guys probably saw in the last recap. And so I thought, you know what? Let me talk to my coach about this and see, because I know there's some records, not only in the master's class, but in open powerlifting classes, where if you do a squat beforehand and do a deadlift after and bench in between, you can go for like a full meet record, which means you have to, in other words, you'd have to do a squat and a deadlift that are successful white lights, at least one, for that bench record to count. And so I know there's some, I guess, low-hanging fruit, if you will, in like the 650 range, and actually a little bit lower than that in the master's class, which I'm really not concerned about, but if I can take it, sure, why not? So the plan was to go in and do what I would call a token squat, and I don't want to go and disrespect a record and do like a 225 squat like some guys in the past have done, and then go and do like a 650 plus bench and then do a 225 deadlift just to get the bench record. I wanted to do at least a respectable squat. It didn't have to be all out. I didn't want to waste a lot of energy on it, but I thought, what the heck? I've been training squats. I haven't gone much over 600. Definitely not much over 700 with deadlift and no straps. I haven't been training without straps, so I was a little bit worried about my grip. So the plan was to go into the meet and do like a 600 opener on everything, 606, 606, 606, and then obviously full send on bench and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what happened at the meet. So right on into it. And Play. All right. So this, I'm gonna just hop right on in. I'm not labeling anything. This is my only squat of the meet. It was 606 opener. And, I didn't really know what to think about it. I've been doing this for quite a while. 600 is really not a big deal to me. I was actually treating it as a max effort lift, so I did not want to be, easy with it or lackadaisy. And it felt fine. It didn't feel like I had anything crazy going on. I shut it down after that. I probably could have done in the mid 700s, I think, which is pretty surprising considering I haven't been training squats heavy. But here is about, I would say, an hour and a half later. This is my 606 bench opener. It's pretty strict federation, USPA. And got a little stick there, but fine, good to go. 3 white lights. You can see the grimace on my face there. I'm not real happy with how 606 moved. It should have just rocketed up. So I took a 633, actually I think this is a 634 and a half chip. Go down here, nice little pause, got stuck. Got a little downward motion there. I did finish the lift. I actually got the lift, but it didn't count because they red lighted for a downward motion, which means the bar did not continue to move upward. So I took it again on a third, and guys, a little gassed out right here, and just fought it for a little bit, and it was done. No excuses. That was my third. What I was planning on doing was a fourth attempt. I'll tell you a little bit about what happened there. Moving on, I got my my opener for deadlift. I honestly did not want to do deadlifts at all after that bench not going through, but you figured I'm here to have fun. Just let's see what happens. So 606 went up fine. I had no clue that I was even going to attempt 700 or so on deadlift. I haven't done this, without straps in a while. So here is 705, 320 kilograms. Mind you, this is my bench goal. So just take a look at this. Man, I did not think that was going to move that fast. And so I just thought, you know what? This is kind of crazy. Why not go full send? Nothing to lose. I don't want to hurt myself, obviously. So I wanted to tell him 804, and then I went back and told him, you know what? Let's just go for a PR. 788. My best in a meet is 782. Take a look here. Notice I'm not wearing a belt. The last 2 attempts, I was wearing a belt. So my erectors, and I'll tell you a little bit about this in a little bit, my erectors are just on fire right now from bench and hold and things, and just being tired and hot the whole day. I got it off the ground, and there you can see, cramped up in the erectors. That was 788 pounds. So kind of backtracking a little bit. So bench did not go as planned. It just was just not a good day, honestly. I went in very, very energetic. I was hydrated. I ate right. I didn't cut weight. I went in at like I forgot what I weighed. I was in the 290s, 295 or so, which honestly didn't matter. I don't ever cut weight for anything. I don't care about cutting weight. I felt great. It was a rainy day in Houston. The meet was actually like a mile from my house, which was very, very convenient. I went in, woke up, just before the rules meeting, went in. I did forget my Gatorade at home, which is funny because literally I could have got it any time, and I left like 2 big old containers of Gatorade. But I did have plenty of water, had BCAAs, and I had things like that to keep me hydrated. And I'll come back to that in a second. But so, went into the meet. I did not have any goals for squat and absolutely 0 goals for deadlift. I wanted at least 650 plus on bench, and everything else was just going to be kind of there to have fun and not be sitting around all day. It backfired a little bit on me. Had a great squat, obviously nothing crazy. I didn't do anything after that squat. I sat down, rolled out, drank water, ate some Chex Mix, kept my sodium levels up, and then just kind of got my mind ready for bench. Bench rolls in, and it's a pretty hot day. I've been sweating, not profusely all day, but it's humid, it's rainy outside, and it's hot in the gym. And I don't know, there's maybe 100 people or so in this gym. It's not real tiny, but it definitely was I would say a little cramped. But honestly, that's kind of meets for you. Some are hotter than others, but I am just sweating the whole time. I didn't realize, and I'm literally just sweating and basically dehydrating, even though I'm drinking and I'm just not replacing it fast enough. So when it came down for bench, not to mention my mind was not right during the bench day. It's just one of those, sometimes you have bad days, and honestly, I'll chalk it up to that. But just kind of talking about, why my erectors, typically when I come off and fire off my chest, my back is a huge mover of that bench. And if my back is not spot on, or if I get stuck somewhere in the middle, or if I get a long pause, my erectors will tighten up. And each rep, they tighten up even more. And that happens in training as well. It's just one of those things. It's kind of the good with the bad. If I can hit a perfect rep and stay in the groove, the erectors are fine. They're a little bit on fire for the next lift or whatever, but it doesn't hurt. But in between my second and third attempt on bench, I had to basically roll out, have some massages done on me in the back room. Somebody had some Gatorade. Luckily, it kind of hydrated me a little bit, and basically took a really good shot at that third lift. Another thing is I wasn't real aggressive on my second lift, and I typically am. I was a little bit timid. I think it was because the 606 felt really heavy, and it psyched me out a little bit, just to be honest. And that happens. I mean, it doesn't happen often. It's happened in the past. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's just something that I'm continually trying to work on. But just went back out and fought the last lift pretty good, and that pretty much did my erectors in. So going home with a 606 squat, a 606 bench, I thought, well, I'm not really here to deadlift. I haven't been deadlifting lately, and my back is tight. My back is so tight I can't even really sit up straight. It's really hard. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to scratch deadlift and just call it a day. And I didn't go and actually scratch it. I kind of thought about it and I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to have some fun with this. I'm going to actually, I'm going to compete. I want to have some fun. There's nobody that I'm really head to head with. There was a couple other lifters there. Rob Hall was having kind of a good meet for him to come back. Not 100%, but I was able to kind of cheer some other guys on and kind of see some fans and things like that. It was pretty cool. So it just kept my mind busy. So I went ahead and said, you know what, I'm just going to keep the things the same. I was thinking about dropping my deadlift down, actually, because I was thinking if I can't even get 606, that's going to be kind of silly and embarrassing for me. But I kept it that way. I started warming up. 315 felt really weird for warm-ups on deadlift. 405 felt a little better. 500 started feeling like, can I get 100 more pounds out of this? And honestly, I was just going to shut it down after the opener. So I went ahead, I did 585 in the warm-up room. The first round of deadlifts came by. I strapped all up, my belt and everything, went out there, took some smelling salts from Skull Smash, and went out there and just flew up. Okay, no big deal. And I thought, okay, let's have some fun. Let's see. I doubt it. I don't honestly think that my back is going to hold up right now. I think I'm pretty dehydrated. Let's go ahead and throw 100 pounds on the bar and see what happens. And that's when you saw the 705 fly up. And I thought, okay, now I'm feeling kind of good. Now, I don't know. It's kind of a YOLO lift at this point. I haven't been training deadlifts. I haven't been training legs really, really hard in order to facilitate what I would think would be a potential 800-pound deadlift. I just thought that'd be crazy. But I thought, you know what? I'm here to have fun. Let's put it on the bar and just attempt it. I've never attempted 800 in a meet on deadlift. So let's just see what happens. Let's just put it on the bar. So I told the table, 804, whatever that is in kilos, and I kind of walked away. And I had a buddy of mine, Trey Morris. I really appreciate you. Training client of mine came out and helped me out for the day, took care of me. I really, really appreciate you. So shout out to you. Check out his, I'll put a link down below, Trinity Nutrition. A little shout out for him just for coming out and helping me out. I really do appreciate it. But he kind of was there, and I thought, you know what? Maybe I should just be smart about this. Instead of going for a lift that I'm pretty much mentally not ready to make, I'm not ready to go and pull 800 pounds. It's just a big feat, even when I'm 100%. So my back's already shot. I don't think that that's going to be a smart move. So I thought, you know what? My best in a meet is 783 for deadlift, and that was done a year ago at Boss of Bosses. And I really wanted to attempt 800 at that meet. It didn't happen because it just wasn't in the cards. So I thought, you know what? Let's just go for a PR. Let's just go for a PR at 788, which would really set the tone for even taking a fourth attempt or just waiting until the showdown meet, which is my next meet. I'll tell you guys a little bit in a little bit. But went ahead and put 788 on the bar, and I really honestly didn't care if I got it or not. I was just there to have fun at this point. I was there for bench. That didn't go through. I thought, what if this is one of those one-off days where something crazy happens? And so I actually was expecting to be before Rob Hall, because Rob Hall typically it got a lot more weight on the deadlift bar than I do. He's been pulling sumo, coming back from an injury, so his third attempt was lower than mine, and I didn't even think about that. I thought surely he's going for 800 plus, because that's what he kind of normally does. So when I went up to look at the screen, I didn't have anything on me. I'd been rolling out on my PVC pipe. I left my belt and everything over on my bag, and it was probably a good minute and a half walk to where I need to get to and come back to get it. Didn't even think about it, honestly. So I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, wait a minute, did I miss my turn? Why is Rob up now? And I looked at him. He goes, oh, I'm only doing 722 on the third. And I went, oh, okay. Whoo. So I naturally watch him, cheer him on, see if he gets the lift, and then I'm next, literally like right after him. And I'm the final deadlift of the day. So I just kind of started chalking up and getting ready. Didn't even think that I did not have my belt on. And I really do utilize the belt. I'm not a big beltless person. I do up to a certain point, but when I'm going for a max effort lift, I am really wanting to utilize that internal pressure against the belt for squat and deadlift. And especially if my erectors and my back is already kind of at a disadvantage from the bench, being cramped up earlier in the day, I really, really needed that, not as a crutch, but just as an aid to be able to get my lift. And so when I went out there, I thought, I'm just going to pull this, and go for it. And that's when you see me pumping it. And then when I went to come up, as soon as my erectors would typically take over is when the lift got shut down. And I just kind of collapsed on it. I was just like, God dang it, that hurt. It was a good try, whatever. Appreciate you guys. Then I heard a couple people snickering and kind of, hey, did he not mean to have his belt on? And I'm like, oh, you serious? I attempted a max deadlift in a meet without a belt. And I was like, for one, I was like, okay, I missed it, whatever. And then I started thinking, wow, the wheels started turning. Like, if I would have had my belt, would I have actually pulled that? And it started me thinking like, man, this is kind of crazy that my deadlift has really come a long way. And so it's kind of a blessing in disguise. I had a stupid kind of meet for my own level of what I would consider a good meet. But it opened up my eyes with some deadlift stuff. So that's just kind of the personal growth that, I'm kind of going through, sharing this with you guys. Obviously, I still have my eyes on bench. I still want bench to be a really big goal in mind. But I really do enjoy squats and deadlifts. And if you followed me for any amount of time, I went through, the road to 2,100 pounds. And I failed a little short of that the first time. Then I nailed it the second time. And then I actually went 2,100 on the dot. And then I went, at the next meet, I went 2182, which is my current best. So in my mind, I've been thinking, through this bench cycle, and I've kind of touched on it a little bit with you guys, is kind of having maybe a road to 2,300 pounds. I think that'd be a nice, solid goal to have. So I don't know, I want you guys to kind of tell me what you think. Definitely the goal is going to be 2,300 pounds with the next meet. The next meet is going to be the showdown meet, which was scheduled for the 26th of September of this year. So literally about 6 weeks away. It's supposed to be in Niagara Falls. New York is still shut down. Still a lot of tight restrictions on the state. I had my apprehensions about going to the meet. I figured that there was going to be a lot of people either pulling out of the meet or not being able to get into the state because there's a 2-week quarantine for anybody from Texas or other places. So I was really apprehensive about doing the meet. I was still going to stay in on it until I got the final word. But just literally like maybe a week or so ago, it has been moved from the state of New York. And instead of being in Niagara Falls or in Buffalo, it's going to be in St. Louis. Not St. Louis. It's going to be in Kansas City, Missouri. And so it's going to be at JP Price's gym. So shout out to JP Price for opening up the gym there, having the showdown meet. Hopefully we have a lot of good competitors. I see a lot of posts going around. So it really feels like it's still going to be a very solid meet. So I'm still sticking around for it, still going to train for it. I'm putting all my eggs into the 3 lifts right now. I still want my bench press goals. Those are not being put on the back burner at all. But I really do get a little bit more excitement when I kind of cycle my bench and my full power training. So that's what we're going to do. So we've gotten 2 weeks of squat and deadlift since the meet. I will catch you guys up very, very soon. So I will let you guys know what we're doing there, but we're basically ramping up squats and deadlifts, which I feel are going to be, 800 plus on squat, 800 plus on deadlift is definitely the goal. The more I can get on those, the less I don't have to, I can do on bench. Because really, let's face it, 800, 700, 800 is, there's only one person that's ever done anything close to that. And I don't even think Kirill had 800 deadlift on that one. I think he had 7 something and had a pretty heavy squat. I think it was like 880 squat, 705 or so bench, which is currently the largest full meet bench of all time. The second one is probably in the 670 range, I want to say, super heavyweight. But that's the goal. I would love to, if I can go like 820 on squat, 830 on deadlift, 660, 70 on bench, that set me up very good. But we'll see. You guys will follow along. I will keep you guys posted. The last couple weeks, I've had some pretty good deadlift and squat sessions. I'm going to be alternating heavy squat, lower deadlift, and lower deadlift, heavy squat each week, and keeping bench. We're going to do a couple weeks of bench, just kind of backing off just ever so slightly. We're talking about maybe taking it down into the 500s for a few reps, like 3x3 with some bands, just to let my body kind of recover. And then we're going to ramp it right back up where we were before and try to take the smartest approach that we can. It worked out pretty well for this last cycle. If we would have not had the pec strains, I really, really feel that we would have been set up very nicely for a PR or better, 700 at this last meet. But it is what it is. You take the good with the bad. You chalk it up as a win because you're learning from it. And all in all, I'm bringing this to you guys to share it with you guys. Obviously, I'm experiencing it myself. I'm learning from it, but I know a lot of you guys ask questions. You're really genuinely concerned, not only about my training, but how it applies to yours and how you can apply kind of my life lessons or my learning experiences with lifting and training at even a high level can be brought down and kind of taken into your own training and just kind of use that to stay smart and to continue to get better. So that's really what I'm doing. So you guys that are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. I will bring you guys hopefully very entertaining videos and some insights to my training. If you guys are on Instagram, definitely check me out over there. Give me a follow at SwimHack. I am going to be starting up the Q&As, so I would love for you guys to shoot me your questions. Leave a comment down below. Ask me questions about anything training related, life related, honestly. Just ask me anything that you guys want to know. I'm a pretty good open book. Don't ask anything creepy because I will just delete it. I'm not going to go that far. But, if you guys have questions related to that kind of stuff, please hit me up. I am thinking about naming, just for the sake of branding, if you will, this video series for the next 6 weeks, the road to maybe 2,300 pounds. If you guys like that, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, let me know that you like that, if that works out for you guys. But really, I think it just sets the tone. Having a goal is critical in my training. I always need to set a goal. And honestly, I don't set a goal that I think I'm just going to barely get. I want a goal that is so lofty that I look at it and it scares me. 2,300 is a big goal. That scares me. 700 is a big goal. That scares me. But that keeps me going. It keeps me up. At night, it makes me wonder, am I doing the right things to get to those levels? I don't set a goal that's just a couple steps above where I'm at now. If that's the case, let me just go ahead and, just chalk it up and say, well, let's do a 771 squat and let's just go 11-pound PR at the next meet. Hell no. I want a 30, 40-pound PR on squat. I want a 60-pound PR on deadlift. I want a 50-pound PR on bench. I go big or go home, and I will continue to do that because that's what excites me. I want to be smart about it. I encourage you guys to be smart about it. I don't want you to go in and say, okay, I've got a 405 bench. I'm going to attempt 500 today. But just be smart. But set lofty goals. That's the whole point. Keeps me going, keeps me training. I have to have a goal or else I'm not going to show up. I'm not motivated unless I have a goal. That's just how I am. But I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm sorry again that it's taken me some time, but I will definitely keep these recaps going. I have a little bit better setup now. I typically film this in my garage, and it is 5 degrees, and it is probably 10 o'clock at night right now. So that just gives you a little feel. I've got a couple of fans off to the side and an AC unit that I just had installed, so it keeps me comfortable, and it also allows me to train in here during the day. I have to close the garage door and things like that, but just it's stuff that I've had to kind of acquire. I didn't have it all on hand, but little things like that, just kind of it's I'm getting them together, getting you guys, the information you need, trying to keep from sweating on camera. But that's what happens when you're 290 pounds and full of muscle. It's just constantly burning calories. But anyways, I will let you guys go. I really do appreciate you guys. Once again, find me on Instagram, hit subscribe, turn notifications on, and go ahead and share this with your friends. I'd love to spread the wealth of knowledge, if you will. I just want to entertain you guys and give you guys some good information. But I will see you guys next week. Peace.